acknowledge the rank.
But let me put it this way: if you have something you want to go talk to the colonel, you go talk to him. Then he comes talk to me. Then I'll make the decision whether or not. Now, if it's a safety issue, then you grab the first sergeant. First sergeant, I saw this, and it's a safety issue. You go to the first sergeant, and then he'll come talk to me and says, "You got a handle on this? You understand what he's talking about?" And then you two go see him.
Chain of command.
You go see, yeah. And you try to circumvent that chain of command. It's not going to end well for anybody. We're going to try to be more military. And this is one of the things that we're going to be working on, is to be more military. And that's why when we have visitors in camp, you don't go, "Hey Brad, these people want to talk." No, you don't do that. You go, "Captain, sir, these people have some questions. I don't know the answer. The first sergeant is not here. Could you answer them? Because I don't know the answer." Then that's fine. But you know, we're going back to this. Let's say that I'm gone from camp. He's gone from camp. And you're the only private left. So when this officer, let's say this is an officer, I know it's a stretch, but say this officer comes in, then you're the one that stands up and says, "Hello sir, I'm the only one left in camp, what can I do for you?" And then he'll state his purpose. Now, this is a soon to be corporal, correct? He's going to be a soon to be corporal. So if we do guard mount during a, let's say these guys are the same company, he's going to say, "Corporal, you're a corporal a day. That means you are the one that's marching the guys out to their guard post." So so they have to have a full water, a gun, and if it's hot outside, you got to take care of them, because that's your new job, is you have to take care of your soldiers. If you have to move 15, 20 feet away, put them in shade, that's what you do. But if there's no shade, then you take them quickly, because they don't get, you know. It's also the same thing is at night guard, all right? After he comes out of the sergeant's meeting and we have night guard for the night, he'll drop the list. And then he'll tell you, take a flashlight, take your cell phone. It's the only time you can have cell phones outside the camp. If you're going to use a cell phone, it's going to be inside your tent very quietly. But at night, when we have night guard at Lebanon, that's the only place I think we will have night guard. Then you take a flashlight and make sure one is, if there's a 17-year-old, you have people under 18 years old, then you have to have one person over 18 going out there. You can't have two minors going out there. It's very important. It's for safety. And we have our thing where we go to the Confederate camp and civilian camp. Artillery takes care of their camp and parking lot, and Union takes care of their camp, and they go out to the parking lot as well. But we have to do that. We had an incident last year where we went 2 hours with having a thing. The colonel was upset, and I had to shoot his ass, had to shoot out the Texas, and I had to shoot out Louisiana, because they failed properly and they did not contact the sergeant major. So if this happens this year, nobody goes out. The colonel's going to chew on him, and then he's going to get the first sergeant together and he's going to chew on, because that's his job. And this is not personal. If somebody has an axe to grind, they're being personal and they're using their rank about it. Let's say this first sergeant is really beating down on you personally, calling you, and it's getting personal, and you got witnesses, then you take the witnesses and you bring it to me. That's the only time I'll allow you to go around. Or if you're brave enough, then you bring the first sergeant to me and you say, "Listen, this is what he's saying. I signed up to do this, but I didn't sign up to get this abuse." Also, another rule, any woman, doesn't matter, from about 16 on up, miss. Whatever they're like Miss Tanya and our
somewhere.
Not up yet.
Our Miss Linda is miss. You treat them like a young lady and you'll go far in life. It doesn't matter how old the lady is. Pretend they're 35, treat them like that, and you'll have a friend for life, and they'll treat you well. I can honestly say it's work. And these are the little things that we can do to raise our game up.
We're good.
Okay.
I'm not trying to interrupt you.
No. I told them the story about last year. 2 salutes for this man. You say, "Good morning," and good night, and that's it, because he don't want to hurt his arm too much. And you have to watch out for him. You're going to be in care of this man here, all right? He's got something wrong with his leg, and every once in a while, so you have to watch over him. Not only that, you have to watch over the rest of the people, because they're yours, and you're the new safety officer. Congratulations. Boy, you big trouble. Go ahead.
Question. So we are facing, but I was facing him. Should I have, since I spotted your back is toward him, should I said officer on deck to let you
Yes.
know?
Exactly.
Okay.
I have a question as well.
On deck or in camp?
Come on. Come here.
Camp
I was
or on?
wondering.
Come in. Speak up. I can't hear you.
Okay.
All right.
I was wondering.
Yes.
What do you do when
You want to know how to talk to civilians. All right. So, in Maryland this year, we're going to have a new thing. We're going to have somebody posted out front, welcoming civilians. Hello, welcome to our camp. Would you like to take a tour of our camp? And we'll talk about this in our winter quarters, but I'll go into the brief thing. They'll have, if you don't have the answer for the question, then you find a corporal or you find the first sergeant. If he doesn't have the answer for the question, especially with our first sergeant knows everything about uniforms, he knows about weapons, I know about tactics and historical places like that. So whatever they're interested in, then you say, Captain or First Sergeant, these people have a question, I can't answer.
Not really.
And then you pass on. Otherwise, you're taking them to a camp, and they're going to ask you questions like, do you actually sleep in here at night? Yes, we do. How do you know when to die? Well, it's usually either when I run out of ammunition, or I'm really tired and hot, and I want to take a break. But we do something in Oregon reenacting that's very Oregon. We recycle, so when I feel better, I'll get a bandage on my leg or on my arm, and I'll get back in the fight because we don't have enough soldiers. But if you'd like to come and join us, we would be more than happy to have you.
I was also wondering, do you stay in character?
Yes. Now, if you don't want to stay in character, and we're going to be, this is persona. If you don't want to stay in character and you want to say, just give me a second, take the hat off. Okay, now I'm, we call her Private Wolf, okay? But when you want to take off the hat and say, let me transition to my day, you either take off the hat or you say, do something. I'm going to transition back in today, and I can answer your questions about today. But we want to show them how we live. We should want to show them that on the other side we have civilians in camp, and the Union, they don't have civilians in camp unless they're escorted. And that's the difference. Over here we have civilians in our camp, which is historically accurate, but there they don't, because that's historically accurate. And you're going to see, okay, look at us. I'm a Confederate, you're a Confederate, you're a Confederate, and you're a Confederate, and you're a Confederate, right? Look at all the different uniforms. Okay, look at this, it's blue. This is sort of blue, but it's black. But, he's a Confederate. Look at this, he's wearing a blue jacket, and he's a Confederate. But the Union Army kind of tends to look blue. Why do we have so many different colors, First Sergeant, in our uniforms?
Yeah, it had a lot to do with supply and where we were able to get our equipment.
Exactly. That's the reason. There's a blockade preventing us from getting our supplies. They got all the manufacturing in the north. They're getting their supplies as fast as they can. Here's a little tidbit for you. For every factory worker in the south, there's a factory in the north. Okay? Think about that. For every factory worker in the south, there's a factory in the north. There's 24 million in the north. There's 9 million in the south. You take it, here's another way of breaking it down. Half of those 9 million in the south are women. Another 2.5 million are slaves. You also got children. So that the Confederate Army has maybe 2 million men they can draw from. The Union has almost 6 million they can choose from. And they're getting boatloads of Irish immigrants. And they're getting drafted on the dock as they come. This is what started the famous draft ride in New York. If you've ever seen the gangs in New York, they depict this. So it's very important. How am I doing?
You're getting there, but there were a few other factors in there. But you're good. You're getting the broad strokes in.
Broad strokes. Any other questions? All right. Your persona is how far back and deep do you want to do? Do you want to comb through the records and find somebody that you can, I can relate. When I was at First Louisiana, my wife became the vendor for that. And her name was Lavinia Williams, right? And I found out that she married a guy named Silas Lincoln in South Carolina. As the Zouaves came up, and they joined the 1st Army of Northern Virginia, they stopped at Edgefield, South Carolina, where they met on Friday night, got married on Saturday night, and he joined the unit on Sunday, and he marched out with them. And by the time, since he was a store owner, by the time that he had reached Virginia, he was made a corporal for the simple reason he could read and write and do math. And luckily for him, he had Irish ancestors, so he's accepted by the Irish First Louisiana. But how far you want to delve into a persona is up to you. I mean, don't go, if you're a Confederate, don't go really hard on the Southern accents. We're Maryland people. We're not going to have a deep Southern accent. I have no idea where this dog is from, so he could have any accent and I'm going to buy it. How far do you go with that? See? How about you?
Vilken jävla sant, vi ser något.
I've been kind of debating doing the accent so far.
Right. And you don't, it's better if you don't do a bad accent. If you can do a really good one, that's great. But if you do a bad one, a cartoony one, people are going, they're not going to buy it. Be honest. You know, find something that resonates to you, and you'll be fine. And then you can talk, like our Darren Richardson, the former captain in Maryland, did a great piece. I'll show this on our winter quarters. It's like 5 pages long of his ancestry, of him, the person he is trying to portray. Whether you want to go that detail or not, that's up to you. There's people back in the Plymouth Rock, and they people have done their work so well, they know their ancestors, the people they're portraying. And Peter Bromoon, who was my first commanding officer, went back there and started testing these people, and they actually found out, yes, he had ancestors on the Mayflower, and he knew that, but he wanted to see if that person knew that, and that person did do that, because they did the work. It's up to you how much you want to do that. You know, it's also how much you want to put into your kit, how good you want to look, how authentic you want to look. We know that there's people on budgets here, and me and my first sergeant here, we try to help you out in the Maryland line, trying to find stuff. We encourage everybody to come to the sale. Not everybody could, but there are a lot of things you could get here that would help you persona. Now, where'd you get your uniform?
This was bought off the 79.
So you bought it, so the 79 bought this and you bought it through the 79, all right? Jimmy, come here for a minute. Jimmy has made his entire uniform. He made the kepi, the jacket, the pants.
Yeah, not the shirt.
Not the shirt. So he does what? Sean, how much have you made here?
So the shirt that I'm wearing underneath was made by my mother, and so I got that. The jacket I recently acquired from Jimmy. The trousers I bought from Jody Nolan from back east. She's with the first section. The vest, yeah, just
all right.
Hand me down.
Your uniform?
Most of my stuff is CNC,
right?
But I just got these pants off another reenactor
right
a few months ago.
All right. The uniform I'm wearing, I'm selling most of Bob Olin's stuff. He used to be the infantry major for Confederates, number 8. He was my first infantry major. And this is Bob Olin's old jacket. All right. The shirt I traded with somebody to get the shirt, but the pants and boots came from Bob Olin. I'm selling this stuff. He gave me 50%, so I bought some of this stuff for this. I have a jacket from Beauregard's Taylor coming. I have a kepi from Joe Starbuck, from Greg Starbuck, that I'll be wearing when I get the new uniform. But this one here, this is the uniform I sold this young man. This is from, I don't know where you got the hat, but this jacket and these pants, and did I sell you the shirt too?
Yeah.
This was from Ball Over, and I sold this to this young man. We met at the Heritage Festival, and he joined the First Louisiana.
Oh, I think the hat's actually from Bob Olin as well.
Did you buy the hat?
I think so, yeah.
Yep. Everything he got was from Bob Olin, except for the shoes.
Right.
So, any other questions? we can talk about any variety of subject that you want to. There's a young lady in there that's selling cartridge tubes if you want to buy those. But I'm going to also recommend American Battlefield Trust. They have hundreds and hundreds of videos. Dive into that if you love reading. There's plenty of books out there. We have some books in there. But do your research. Come prepared. And, you know, my wife didn't think I could do this. She didn't think I could get up early in the morning, take orders, which I hate to do, and give up my creature comforts. I found out one of the big reasons I love reenacting is I get away from my cell phone. I love getting away from that because this goes off 10, 15 times a day. With her, it's a lot more. And I get away from it. I turn it off, I check for emergencies, and I put it away for the weekend. Because I want to do this, I want to relax, I want to have fun with you guys. But part of our fun is to do things accurately so the people that we're portraying, we're showing them honor. You know, we don't want to cheapen that. And that's why when we have the audiences, especially at Lebanon, because it's going to be a low-cost event at $5, hopefully we'll get big crowds and we even might get a couple of recruits. And we have to thank Tanya Little and Linda Stephens for getting that money. We're going to door to those businesses to get all this money. So, any other questions?
Do you have?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Do we have like an R unit, like a mentorship or some sort of way? I noticed that you said he was moving up to corporal.
Yeah, he was more
Is there a way for us privates to be able to do that
Yes.
also? Because I would like to
All right. I'm
explore
going to give
that.
you what
because-
I'm
yeah.
expecting from you if you want to move up. The first thing, importantly, is to show up. I can't stress this. If you want rank, you want to move up, you show up. In the 12 years I've been reenacting, I've never missed one event, not one. I missed one drill. First Louisiana used to have drill in January, February, and March. Then they had the winter quarters, and we're trying to bring the winter quarters back. I missed one of those in my 12. And I'm not going to ask you to do something I've never done before. I picked up garbage and took it a mile and walked back to camp because that's the way I volunteer for extra guard duty. You have to show up. You have to know. Find something that you can make your own, that you know, that you can make it expert in. That way, if somebody and I don't know the answer, now you might go, private, do you know this answer? And you know that answer, that's going to help you out. But to show up, know your stuff, make sure, if you have questions, you go to the first sergeant. If you have questions about something else, and let's say it's after night and things are more relaxed, can I talk to you about something, Captain? I want to learn how to talk to people. I want to learn how to do this. I talk to that, and that really doesn't interest me, but what you have, when you talk about the battles and all that, I want to learn more about that. Can you talk? That's how you do it. What about you? How do you, like, with a kid, you got a private that's showing initiative, he wants to move out, what does he have to do to see that?
First, he's got to show up. Then he's got to show that he knows how to ask questions, because we don't expect anyone to just show up and know everything. The other bit is that if he shows potential, we're going to start mentoring. We're going to start giving him a little more responsibility.
Right.
If he starts doing well with that, we're going to start breveting. Then he's going to go through our leadership course. Then he's going to probably end up with chevrons within the next year.
And that's, we have a position, personally, my second sergeant had to decline being second sergeant because he's got work and he can't make all the events. And first of all, to say that I can't do that because I won't be there all the time, that's the proper way. You have to be there to move. If you're going to show up to one event, that's your business, and I hope you have fun. But if you're not going to show up to other events, you're not going to move up. It's just that easy.
Can I take you back?
Go for it.
In the 79th, one thing we do also rely on is competence. As I stated in the previous class, for those of you who were there, we have the chevrons on. It's because we know how to do that job. It's because we've been trained to do that job, and we are expected to do that job. And we will be given the responsibility and the necessary authority to complete the task ahead of us. So if you're looking at moving up, the best advice I can give you is educate yourself. Ask questions. Learn the manual of arms. Learn how to pitch a tent. Learn how to clean a rifle. master those tasks and then demonstrate that you can do that. And someone is going to notice. And someone, because there's always room at the top, is probably going to say, hey, so I want to talk to you about more responsibility. At least that's how it goes in the 79.
Anyway, and what's going to happen with him is, if I see somebody and we're talking, and he's seeing, hey, this guy's showing potential. All right, give him this job. See how he does that. Watch how he does that job. And he's going to do this. But part of my job also is to train him for me sometimes. If I'm gone, like I know, for example, I'm not going to tell him when, but one of the battles this year, I'm going to take an early hit, and the company's going to be on, he's going to be running the company. Because I'm going to take an early hit, and I'm going to stand back, and I'm going to get up and be wounded, and I'm going to watch him how he does. And then we'll have a talk about this. And we're going to see, and that's what we're going to do. While I'm watching you in battle, I'm going to watch how you do it. I'm going to be back here in my tent, in my chair, watching how you interact with public, how you treat the public, how you treat other people. Those things are important. I'm going to see if you can put up your tent by yourself. He's going to watch you while you clean your gun. Are you doing it correctly? Are you coming to the event with cartridges already rolled and you're ready to go, so you're not having to spend time at the event doing the cartridges? He's going to be watching that. Can we get a hold of you about this? Hey, can you do this? Can you do this? And if you don't show up to these things, if you don't show up, or you get into the camp at 8:30 on a Saturday while a specialist just gone, and you still have to pitch, those things matter. Yes, life gets in the way sometimes, but if you call me and tell me, hey, I got this, I'm going to be there, but that helps. If you don't talk to me, we can't, you ghost us, and then you show up, that's not going to help. And it's also, find leadership if you see the advantage where you can you can say, I can do this, I can show them I can do this. That's going to help your cause. Anything else you'd like to add?
I'd say you've pretty well covered it, but once again, just showing up. That's half the battle. Competence, that's the other half the battle.
All right.
Sometimes you may run into an organization where they might slow roll, but persistence pays off. And speaking as someone who's had to be a substitute company commander and has been first sergeant for going on 7 years now, I could never have enough help. There's always room for help. There's always room to learn. There's always room for someone who wants to step up.
And then somebody might take a chance, like Bishop did with me. I was a corporal for Louisiana, and I was moving to Maryland, and Bishop said, I need you as my sergeant major. And he showed confidence in me. And then when Darren got sick, hopefully he can come back. He can be the color sergeant for the group. But I didn't go to run. I was approached by the president to say, we need you to come back as captain. And because I was perfectly happy being sergeant major. I love yell at you guys. I love let's go and have fun with you guys. But I was asked to do this job, and I'm going to do it the best I can, the way I see fit as a captain. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to do anything that I have not done before. I'm not going to expect any more of you than I've done before. I mean, whether it's you or it's this person, I'm going to treat you the same until you show me that I can't. Or this other person, I'm not picking on you on this. If she shows up late, if she can't complete her cast, then I'm not going to give her, I'm going to have him watch her even more. But if you show me that I can do this, I said, all right, private, go do this. And if you can do it, that's how you do it. You want to add anything?
No, you're pretty much covering it.
All right. Are you being trained?
Trained?
Yeah, to be corporal and do the duties.
Parties?
What?
Reading parties.
You have someone mentoring you?
I've got
Is your dad?
first sergeant, yeah.
Yeah, his dad's the first sergeant.
Mentoring me.
Yeah.
Since I live right down the street from him.
Plus, he's newly married now, and he knows how to take orders. because he's still happily married.
Yeah.
All right.
One more tip I'd give to anyone that's looking to step up. If you got a new recruit out there, odds are good they're not going to know anything. But start showing them basic things like soldier's life, manual of arms, how to clean a weapon, how to cook salt pork. That's a good start. It's a good foundation.
Sergeant Scarborough, come and join us for a second. We're talking about mentoring and militaries. How are you going to mentor this young man, or to be a corporal, or how are you going to train him to do this?
I'll be the one that's training him.
Right.
And going through the customer service for the NCO and all the duties. And our company has specific duties to report to corporal too that aren't military, but the company duties for like safety and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So all of that'll go. It's up to. Normally it would be up to a sergeant, but we're not big enough to have more than a first sergeant.
Right.
When we were bigger, our duties were broken down much further.
Right. Exactly. Because we're smaller than we used to be, so he has a lot of jobs. I have a lot of jobs. Corporal Joyce will have a lot of jobs. And those are little things like that, and it's just there's more things to do. So if you can stand out and say, I can do this, that's how you move up. But know your stuff, be prepared to help out, and as he said, ask the right questions. And there are some wrong questions, because if I'm going to explain something to you 3 or 4 times, and you come back at me 2 days later and ask the same question, that's not going to work. But if you're asking me a smart question where I actually have to think and pause about that, that's good on you.
Sometimes it's also really good to ask the same question to multiple people, because
Yes.
especially if you're in a battle scenario, you might have done something, or you might have followed an order or something like that someone doesn't agree with, and that's the person that you always ask questions. That's happened to me before. And it might be that it was just so chaotic in that moment that they didn't have the right judgment to tell you what to do. For example, I've had a time where I became under command of a different officer.
Right.
But my first sergeant, who was a part of the company I was previously in command with, they still thought of me under their command. So I took a firing command from a different captain. My first sergeant was very happy about that, but he wasn't the one that was directing me at that moment. At this point, our captain had taken a hit. Our first sergeant was in charge of the old company. So normally, my first sergeant was the one I went to everything for. But at this moment, I needed to go up to other officers and say, this is the situation that happened. Was I correct in what I did? And in every case, the other officers were like, yeah, you did the right thing. You knew what command you were in. It's just, at that point, after our captain had taken a hit, he had taken command of a company that was about 25 people at that point still. He had other things on his mind. Then my command has just changed because someone else has told me to. The colonel has told me to.
All right. Here's a question for you, and you. This is the fence. I'm firing that way. And I go this way. What happened? Is that wrong? Everybody says that's wrong. Okay. He doesn't see it. I don't see it. What do you do?
I immediately tell my superior, whoever that is.
All right.
Or tell the guy knock it off, and then tell the,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it has to go on that one.
Notice it, unless it's like a life-threatening thing, take it up with your chain of command. Say, all right, I noticed this on the battlefield. Your chain of command, especially your NCOs, like I said, they get shit done. They will handle it.
Well, should I immediately noticing, hey, stop that crap, and then tell the next guy
If you go over there, I guarantee you, the second you go walk over there and I'm over there and I see a rep approaching, I'm going to pull the trigger. Especially if I'm a private and I got tunnel vision.
All right. What do you want him to do if he sees that?
If he sees that,
Yeah, pretty much come to me. Like
After the battle.
Yeah, after the battle.
After the battle.
Unless it's like legitimately going to like a risk or something, and or maybe if he's like right next to you, just like have like and make sure you keep doing that, and then let me know, and then I'll just say in general I had seen this on the field, so let's go over what we're supposed to do.
Right, and
not
then
like not rule anyone out specifically.
Now this is
I
just.
thought you meant our own myth. I didn't know what the other was.
No, you don't wish. No.
That's what I mean.
No, I'm just asking him what he would do in his own
okay,
men.
okay.
But if you see something unsafe to there, and I don't see it, then let him know, and he'll let me know. Then if it's with their group, then I'll walk over to the camp, and we'll have a private conversation.
And it'll get sorted.
And it'll get sorted out. Because the one thing we want is safety first. Your own safety first. Then it's other people's safety second.
It's another thing if it's like a big life-threatening thing, then we should all know the call on that.
Right.
And that's stop action. Someone's literally hurt, medic. That's a different scenario altogether. But if you see something unsafe on the battlefield, it doesn't look like it's going to be totally life-threatening, take that with your chain of command.
There goes the fence.
Uh-oh, there's $25 fine for that. Right, then.
That wasn't me.
You're the only one leaning on it.
That wasn't me.
Linda Texas.
I'm gonna eyeball the lower one too. But on that same point, when I'm looking for people to go up in rank, especially the corporals and such, I'm looking for privates that are willing to politely correct other privates. If I see someone who is able to effectively communicate how to change something so that someone else doesn't have to, and then they're willing to responsibly point it out when it needs to the next ranks up, and I think, okay, this is someone I would want as my corporal, because I can trust that this person is going to correct and improve everyone around them. But if it's someone who just lets that happen, I'm usually thinking, I don't want this guy as my corporal, because he's not going to do anything unless I tell him to. I like my corporals personally to be very autonomous in that sense.
So on the flip side of that, I did witness this before, and I won't name names, but there was an unsafe action that did occur last year out at Clatsop, and the officer that witnessed it went ballistic in front of the crowd, no less, and it caused a bunch of drama. Needless, the officer wasn't wrong. The man who was infracting was clearly in the wrong, but the way it was handled was totally wrong.
There's an old adage that I really go with. Praise in public, discipline in private. You're not out there to embarrass somebody. I mean, you're going to have guys that are going to give you attitude and say, I'm just here to have fun. All right? Fine, have fun. You're not that what we really want. Yes, everybody wants to have fun, but we want to do it in a respectful manner. And this is why, I don't have all the answers. He has some answers that I need, and vice versa, and he'll have them, and he'll have them. This gentleman will have them. And these guys, because they've been around, we've been doing it for a while. But I'm not going to be arrogant to say, I have all the answers. I don't. But I know who to go to get those answers. And then we had a situation, I'm not going to again name, where this guy sold something to one of his guys, and it didn't go well. So instead of confronting the guy, I went to this gentleman, and we talked about it, and the thing got settled.
Yep.
And that's how you do things. If he's wearing stripes, he probably knows what he's doing. He knows his job. Be confident in that in fact you know what you're doing. And that way, when you get up to this level, even higher, you have confidence in what you're doing. And that's what you want to be consistent. Don't play favorites. I may not like this person here, but if they're doing the job correctly, I have to give them their due, and that's what a good officer does. Even though if you don't like this person, but they're doing the job correctly, then you have to reward that person. If it becomes like that, where you're not feeling like I'm doing everything I can, I don't want to do better, they go to another, like in my unit, you're not getting the way you think you're going, go to this man here. He'll tell you what he sees. what he, if he appreciates you, that's great. If it comes to a point where you've been, that's my thought in your job. If you're not appreciated, it's time to move on. No matter how secure, if you can get another job, if
come
you're
all over
feeling
the Texas,
appreciated,
we
it's time to go.
Traitor.
Another unit.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Questions? All right. Thank you, guys.